You ever play Final Fantasy 8? It's a pretty weird one. You know, people don't like it as much as 7 or probably any of the other Final Fantasies. It's got legendary status because it's in Kingdom Hearts, though. It might be more well known for its appearances in those games, or references in those games, more than the actual thing. I don't know, maybe not. I grew up with the Kingdom Hearts side of things, so it was weird going back to FF8 and seeing that it has like a lot of the blood of Kingdom Hearts in it. Or seemingly, you know, these might be references to other things for all I know. There's a weapon called Save the King or Queen, you know, that's a Kingdom Hearts thing. The game's opening little movie, some of the visual elements were later used in trailers and cinematics and other Kingdom Hearts games, and this whole thing smells like the Bouncer too, but that's a different story. Like, you know, it was fun stuff, like digging up dinosaur bones or looking through the family tree of fucking the few Final Fantasy games I know. Yeah, I beat FF8 a little while back, and I'm still thinking about it. Obviously, I've been thinking about it my whole life. I grew up with the FF8 slander. People always dogging on this game. The Spoonie experiment dogging on this game. The guys in the wrestling rings dogging on this game. And you know, it is pretty warranted. I don't think it succeeds too well as like an engaging, mechanically interesting. That's not the word. FF8 is very interesting, but it's not like an RPG you sink your teeth into and like really get enjoyment out of the systems. The systems are, I feel, deliberately obtuse. You go through a lot of menus in this fucking game. Too many menus, too many tutorials. Things are always being over-explained to you. And I would, you know, put on my bad game hat. What I mean to say is that I would chalk this up to it just being a poorly explained thing, right? Like, the game just sucks. It doesn't know how to explain itself. But there's also this thing that might make it all brilliant, right? The narrative, right? Like, that shit. It's just as over-explained. And the point of the eventual, like, the eventual point of the story is that Squall, the Drifter, the guy who has, like, no purpose in his life, he's just, like, taking things as they come, no real direction, because things are just too complicated. He eventually sees that it's not worth stressing over the details, and you gotta just like focus on the shit you care about, and everything else will just kind of work out. That's kind of a overly simple way of putting it, but you know, the game words it overly simple as well. You know, many characters go on these prattlings late game where they say, like, if you overthink things, they generally turn out shit. And I feel like that's just, like, the point of the game. Because, like, even in the end game, you're fighting, you don't even know what you're fucking fighting anymore. Ultimecia? Ultima who? Like, the characters have, like, no real idea who the villains are. They just know that they are villains and they need to be stopped because if we don't stop them, it'll intrude on Squall and Renoa's alone time, you know, because Squall's fallen in love with a woman at this point, and he's like, these evil bastards are gonna get in on my date. Like, you know, it's some pretty sweet stuff. So I think the game being overly complicated in the gameplay works out, because by the time you get to the end game, man, the payoff is that, like, whoa, dude, everything was overly complicated, but, you know, maybe not really, because, like, you know, there's a lot of menuing and shit, but, like, there was an auto button there the whole time, you know? Like, maybe this stuff wasn't so complicated. Or it's complicated, but you can get the results you want without sweating about it too hard after all. You know? The menuing, you didn't need to worry about it that hard. So, yeah. FF8, a little brilliant in that, like, fucking, it's bad on purpose, dude. Like, fucking, that's never a good argument, right? I don't know. It was just, like, really interesting the way this whole thing turned out, and I'm kind of okay with it. There's this moment that really sealed the deal, where I thought that was the point of the game. Like, it was really trying to express this overcomplication, don't worry about it kind of theme as, like, the point. Because you go on this one bit where you go to space, right? You go to space in FF8. And, you know, it's a normal thing, right? Like, Renoa, your girlfriend, is in a coma. Or she's not your girlfriend yet. Squall hasn't admitted that he's in love with her. He's just kind of like, what am I doing? Like, you know, this girl's, she's in like a magic coma. And he's like trying to fix her up because I don't know. What are these feelings? So, You go to these guys who you think can fix her, and they're like, I don't know, maybe we could patch her up on the moon base. And you're like, the what? The moon base? We're going to space? And you just kind of have to roll with it, because I guess that's just how the world works, right? You know, it's a big place. Sure, moon base. And it doesn't turn out very well. You know, you go to space and she gets possessed by some other evildoer from the future or some shit. It's this whole thing. And, you know, they end up getting, like, stranded in space together. They find a other spaceship that they can use to fly back to Earth, though. It's full of aliens, though. And they've got these specific rules you gotta follow for taking them out. You know, you're stealing... Well, I guess the aliens don't own the ship or anything. It's like they're just, like, nesting on it. It was, like, a human thing once. And it's just kind of been drifting out here. It's very convenient for the storyline, you know, like, oh my god, we're stranded out in space, we're running out of oxygen. Oh, look, there's the spaceship we can use to fly back to Earth. Oh my god, it's so convenient, so contrived. Who gives a shit? You know, it's FF8, man. Like, we know what we're here for. We want to see Squall, like, overcome life's complications. This ship is the vehicle for us to get back on track. So, who cares? Let's take it back to Earth and go beat up Ultimecia. But first, we've got to deal with the aliens that are nesting on it. But uh-oh, like everything else in the game, there's these fucking overcomplicated specific rules and bullshit. The game is over-explaining to you how to deal with these damn aliens. The previous owners of the ship left this big old rule book telling you how to deal with them. Like, they're multicolored, you gotta kill them in order, you gotta kill, like, the red one and it's the other red one. If you kill them out of order, they'll just resurrect themselves. It'll be a never-ending thing, and it's so over-explained. You don't really perceive the meaning, because there's just too many words used to, like, try to express itself. Like, so you're just gonna roll with it, you know, you don't understand, but you'll roll with it, you know, like Squall, how he's been living his life up until now. But Rinoa, the girl Squall fell in love with, because she's so refreshingly simple, reads the book, and she, like, elaborates it for you, or with you. You know, her and Squall figure it out together. You reading it, you don't get it, but then she's like, oh, let me simplify it in, like, one dialogue box, and it all makes sense. And, you know, I get it, Squall. I'm falling in love with this chick, too, because she just explained some bullshit I would have overthought about for, like, who knows how long. You know, typical FF8 shit. I would have been here all day, because it's just, like, not explained properly. But now it is. The game suddenly is able to explain itself, because seemingly it's been being obtuse on purpose for like 20 hours, and this is being revealed as like the whole point of the thing. Now it all makes sense. So you go on this date with Rinoa, killing the aliens the right way, the way she explained, and it's awesome. By now Rinoa's got like this new limit where she gets like Jesus powers, and you just kind of like play support. Like you let her go off and just throw the strongest fucking shit at these guys, because that's what her limit does. She goes God powers and just dusts them with the strongest shit. It's awesome. It's one hell of a date. And the whole game is just like, from then on out, like, nothing phases Squall. Like blah blah blah, Ultimecia, lunatic, pan, whatever. He doesn't even like refer to the bad guys by like their name. He calls them the lunatic whatever. There's this giant monolith spitting out monsters. It's called the Lunatic Pandora. He doesn't even seemingly know the name of the thing. He's just gonna be like, I know we have to deal with them, so we will. Whatever. He's got his eyes on the prize. And you do too, because you're not worrying about every little thing anymore. And I think that's kind of really powerful. Is it worth sitting with the game for like however many hours? Just to get to the point that, oh, it was busy work on purpose. Fucking, I don't know, maybe. It kind of really works for me, though. You know, Squall is a protagonist you can really feel. I feel. You know, everyone feels lost. Everyone's a drifter. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They pretend they know what they're doing. People look up to Squall in the game because he's the best at faking it. But his internal dialogue, he's just a mess. He doesn't know why people look up to him. But it's because he's the best at faking it until he makes it. People think he's got it going on because he's just so stoic. And that's the point, man. Fake it till you make it. That's the shit I got out of FF8. That it's okay to do that. To live your life doing that. Because what are you doing otherwise? Pretending that you know what the fuck is going on? When there's all of these crazy variables you never would have known about because the world is just so fucking huge. You know, time travel, fucking monsters jumping off the moon and shit. Like, you have no clue. I thought, I don't know if that was the point. Maybe they were really trying to like tell like a classic tale about just beating some bitch with time powers. I don't know, but that's traditional stuff. Maybe they were trying to be normal and it just came out this way. But what I got out of FF8, that kind of theme, I thought was pretty powerful. The complete package, the gameplay, not as like tight as 7. You know, 7's, you know, got it all going on. I for what it is, I just really think 8 is cute. I probably couldn't recommend it to anyone though. You know, I'm telling you what I like about it, but like, would you like any of this shit? I don't know, that's up in the air. Go play 7, dude. Anyone can enjoy that one. And if you got a heart of gold, maybe check out 8. It's worth existing, I think. One of a kind. You are no dreamer.